Gals and guys, go to Tracey Brown Live. Go to Tracey Brown Live. Go to Tracey Brown Live. Gals and guys, go to Tracey Brown Live. Go to Tracey Brown Live. Go to Tracey Brown Live.
Morning. Happy Leo Moon today. Morning, everyone. Uh, I don't know what it is about the Leo Moon, but I am sluggish. I am sluggish. I think it has something to do with my tooth. I don't know. But I am completely sluggish. Anybody else sluggish? This is normal. Plus, I have on long sleeves, which I think I should take off. Hold on. Oh my God. That feels much better. I went out this morning and it was so cold this morning, but in the house it's not cold at all. So let's just take that off. Be free. How's everyone doing? Let's say hello. Let's say hello to everyone. Hi, Creative Soul. Hi, Teresa. Hi, Jenny G. Hi, Marcella. Hi, Teresa. Yes, even after coffee, I'm still dragging. I thought it was just me. I'm like, what is happening? But thank you for letting me know that you too. Malika, hello, sweetie. How's everyone doing? Oof, oof. Wait, it's my receiving hand. Let me just I do have my air conditioner on to cool down the room a little. It's just well insulated. Like it's made out of concrete, so it's just well insulated. All right. How's everyone doing today? I didn't get to take a look at YouTube this morning, which is where I get my inspiration sometimes for the next show. Oh well. Um, Hi Juanita. You know, guys, I was watching Mims this morning. Make it make sense. Mims. And he has a show on the preachers. I don't know the name of the show. I believe it's the most current one. And he had people on the show, giving their opinion on TD Jakes. And I found it interesting. There were two people that gave me great concern. And if I'm not mistaken, both people did not have a father. And so when TD Jakes wrote a book about daughters or wrote a book or for some women that have self-esteem issues about being a woman, right? Especially if you come from a neighborhood or a family that doesn't value you as a woman, right? Because as Black women, how are we supposed to be? Um, just warriors, right? So if over time that warrior esque about you got diminished in the neighborhood by the men in your neighborhood, you now want to conform so that they could feel better about themselves. But you don't know that that's happening. You don't know that it's a systematic problem in the hood. That maybe the church even uses to keep you down. But you have no idea of this. So sometimes you go to church and you listen to the word, and all in the church, they're putting you down as women. And then you come out to church, you're like, that was the best sermon, Father. Did you have a church like that where when a sermon ended, the pastor, I'm talking about Baptist because I was Baptist. No, Catholic did it too, where they stand at the doorway and you shake his hand and you have to say something, right? I remember you can't even get out the church, right? I've learned to dodge and go out another door, but there's always deacons at that door, right? So you kind of have to look at the deacons and be like, I gotta go. And you have to challenge the deacon because their job is to make sure you pass the pastor. That's their job. So they block the door to intimidate. But that line can be long to give that pastor all that goddamn praise. I'm not good for all that praise. If I felt the sermon moved me, then I would want to say something. First of all, you know what I've noticed with Baptists, right? In my church, right? Small communities, small church. You know what I've noticed? That sometimes I would shake the pastor's hand and they would look at me like they don't believe the praise that I'm giving them. Has anybody had that experience where you're like, great service, Pastor? And they look at you and they go, and you're like, no, really, it was very moving. And it's like, what was that? You do you know that I know? Do you wait, what's going on there? This was before I knew I had the gift. So the judgment of what I was saying was personal for the pastor. And I was like, no, that was like, why do I have to convince you now? What's that about? Because you got a long line of worshipers and they're much more happier to kiss your ass. But I believed in your sermon today. So I love wearing a necklace around my neck. I don't know why I wouldn't wear a necklace. So I say that to say I am happy to be spiritual. I am no longer religious. Religious religion can kiss my ass because it's such a place of feeling stuck. I don't have to worship you, pastor, priest, whatever other titles you all have. I don't have to worship you. You guys don't worship your professors at your schools, and they educate you. They get you to be the highest intellectual place you can be. And I don't see all of this. Why is that? Because they don't want it. this is disgusting. They want for you to operate at your best intellectually. So when I go to church, I expect my pastor to teach me morals that, by the way, you should follow. And so when you've done your job, pastor, don't expect me to praise you. My job is not to praise you. My job might be saying, great class, professor. I learned a lot. Isn't that the way you talk to a professor? Great class. I'm going to take that with me. Have you ever kissed the ring of a professor? And if you have, you shouldn't be. When I was in college, I took a Shakespeare class. I've always loved Shakespeare since high school. And the books that I loved was Penguin books. They really chopped it down so the layperson can understand Shakespeare. But I was in love with literature. More importantly, Shakespeare. And one of my teachers said, I have I don't know if it was a book club. It wasn't a book club. It was he sold books. And he says, Tracey, I sell books every Friday. Come and see what you like. And he knew I like Shakespeare. I come on a Friday. I don't know if I went right away. Ugh. And remember, I'm a young girl and I'm not spiritual yet. Remember this. And I get to the second floor, some things you just never forget. And the classroom that he's normally in, he's not in that classroom. Instead, the hallway was dark and the daylight was still dark. And it was at the very last classroom. And I remember thinking right away, danger. I wasn't spiritual yet. Or was I always spiritual? And I remember thinking, danger, this is not going to turn out well. And so I go anyway, as any kid would do. And I get there, and he's got an array of books for sale. But he had this pristine volume of all the popular Shakespeare books, plays, the ones that they teach in college, the basic ones. And it was encased, bound in leather, and he was giving me a good price for it. Now, from that point on, I don't know what happened. So I can only give you the impression. And the impression was, you can have it if I got to stop there because my memory's lost at that point. But I can still picture myself there, and I just look at him and I say, no. And all I remember was him getting so mad at me. Well, you wanted the books. This is what you wanted. And I was like, yeah, no. And so I walked out without the bound Shakespeare books. And I have to be honest with you, from that point on, I hated Shakespeare. I say that to say, because I'm sweating now that I'm telling this story, teachers should not be worshipped. They don't get a salary every day for me to worship them. Period. Great class, teacher. That's something I'll carry with me for the rest of my life. Great sermon, Pastor. I really learned something today. So what I've learned to do from church was not go, but that's neither here nor there. Until I got the strength not to go, because that's a whole nother thing, to understand that not going to church is not against God. It's against the leader of the church that doesn't feel right to you anymore. So once I got the strength not to go, then I began to step into my spiritual world and try and figure out spirituality without all of that religious pounding and guilt and oh my God, and the disrespect of women, some of the stories that they tell. I mean, am I the crazy one, or do they not necessarily build women up? Maybe I'm the crazy one. I don't know. So, two people on men's, one didn't have a father and fell in love with T.D. Jakes based upon a book that he wrote about his daughters. Now, fuck you to 10 years later, 20 years later, those daughters are effed up. Do you understand? Can you help me make sense of the adoration of someone because they wrote a stupid book, and yet somehow or another, their own children wind up being messed up and stealing other people's children? The other one got pregnant at 13. What are we talking about when someone says in the video that I was watching, you know, I didn't have a father in that book. I read it when I was 14, around the same time his daughter was getting pregnant. I love the discussion that was being had, but the abhorrent of the belief system in a human being, to not believe that T.D. Jakes could have done something wrong. I'm going to tell you what I know about God. He lets things out in pieces. He's constantly saying, look at the signs. This is not right. A pastor having a daughter that gets pregnant at 13, that's not normal. Everybody always, oh, that's a pastor's kid. That's a pastor's kid. That's not normal. If you can't control your family, how are you preaching to me? He absolutely, my ancestors absolutely did. And once I got older, I realized Othello was very racist. Once I got mature enough to understand that Shakespeare, like anybody else, was racist. It's people putting the man before God. Yes. Why am I crying right now, Tracy? My heart has a teardrop in it. I don't know. Your ancestors. Oh, yeah. What does that mean, Tia? He probably was released things when his family was having. So here's what I think happened. Much like Sylvia Brown, right? People write books, granted. Most people don't write their own books. If they're already famous, most people don't write their own books. So if you tap in spiritually, you can tap into the temperature of the room in society, right? And you could easily figure out that if T.D. Jakes wrote a book about being a girl's dad or about his daughters, you can easily figure out he's a fucked up dad. I bet you he wrote that book to cover up that his little girl was pregnant at 13. I bet you. But if you're going like this to TD Jakes, notice how the notice how the churches are made. Now, I don't know if this is a design. I'm not saying that. But notice how oh, God. Notice how the churches are made. The pews are down here. The stage or the pulpit, like we say in the Catholic Church, I don't know about other churches, are up here, right? So you're looking up at the pastor as if they're God. You know what Jesus did? Does anybody know what Jesus did when he taught his $50,000 congregation? Do you know what he did? I'm going to let you guess for a minute. I'm going to let you guess. I want to know if you guys know. And it's not a test. Be okay with failing. Be okay for not knowing. I had to tell Ezra that all the time. I was like, it's okay not to know. Bingo. How? How was he in the middle of the people? How? Explain that to me. Bingo. Who else got answers for me? Now we going to church. Jesus was in the middle of the crowd. Oh, wait, what is this? Bingo. How? How is he in the middle? Bingo. You guys got it. Now we going to church. Let's see. Darcy, Cassandra, Lori. Maybe that's it. Who else said it? Amongst the people. Jesus was in the crowd. Jesus never, ever preached in the church. So, guess what, people? Church got it wrong. So, I'm just listening to these poor people, just lost, just lost. And I'm like, you poor people, you poor people. Right, Dory. And guess what else Jesus would do? When I was asking how, it wasn't to make anybody feel bad. I was asking how because Jesus sat on the floor. He sat on the floor. There was one where there was the Sermon on the Mount. And he only did that because more and more people were coming to him. And he wanted to make sure they could see him, not praise him. Does that make sense, guys? Are we now learning something a little different when it comes to our God? So that was the one woman. Then the other woman, this is the one that was like, I read this book when I was 14 and I didn't have a dad. And it's like, oh my God, he changed my whole life. All right, sweetie. Um, And the other one, her name was like Queen Sheba or something. Man, she went on the defense. You have to watch the Mims one about the pastors. She went on a defense about I don't even know what. And this other woman, Vanessa, please go. It's about 1:45. Please, about 1 hour and 45 minutes. Please go listen to Vanessa. Queen Sheba talked and talked and talked and talked and talked. And, he's not guilty of anything. The funny thing is, no one said TD Jakes was guilty of anything. No one put that on his back. People have said they found some things inappropriate, but not guilty of anything. And she was staying stuck on the word guilty. And she's like, I'm not going to believe anything until I have proof. Well, baby, just wait. This is God. Proof is coming. How do you find out that your husband is cheating or your wife is cheating? You get tiny little messages before you get the full blown answer. Am I right or wrong? What's coming out on TD Jakes is tiny little messages. Does this seem right to you? Did you know that he did this back in the 80s? Did you know that yesterday he did this? And it's like, he did that and he did that. And what? What else did he do? That too? Yep, he did that too. And then you begin to realize, oh, hell no. Maybe this man that I've been worshiping isn't healthy. Maybe this man needs a spiritual audit. Because if you do a spiritual audit on their morals and their money, just a spiritual audit, you're going to find some things. I promise you. This is true, Sin W. However, how do most of us eat? You're absolutely right. But how do most of us eat? We eat like food is never coming back to us. Think about it. So if we eat this way, how can we hear a pastor? If we eat like food is going to disappear tomorrow, which it will, that's coming. How can we possibly understand a pastor? If we eat fast food, and I'm not putting fast food down, there was a time when all I could afford was fast food. So I'm in no way am I putting it down. But if I'm eating bad all week and then I go to church to be fed, and if you look in the churches, what do you see? Mostly overweight people. Am I lying on people? Did you all see that video where the mistress went to confront the pastor? in the church, but attacked the pastor's wife and she was pregnant. Did y'all see that video? Did anybody see that? We are in control of our choices. Yes, meaning the nutrients fed, the quality. Yes. Did y'all see that video of the young lady that was sleeping with the pastor? Yes. You know what I noticed, Teresa, when I looked at the video? You know what I said? A lot of overweight people in that church. That's what I noticed. Now, am I being fair when I notice something like that? Well, maybe not. I don't know what I'm being fair at because even I don't know why I pick up on the weird shit that happens. Making today's candle, but I'm not going to show you the name. How pretty is that? These are all symbols for things this person wanted. I tend to add um, Christ to it, but that's just my jam. And if I'm making the candles, it's my jam. You don't have to have me make your candles. You know, when I make these candles, I send a picture of the finished product, and then I monitor how it develops the candle. I did realize I made some huge mistakes the last time, and one was adding too much herbs. So I won't be doing that again. And these here, they're called garlic candles. Garlic. So I literally made them with garlic so that you could get what you want with the protection that's required, if that makes any sense. Like, I've decided people want things, but they may not realize that they're not asking for it with protection. And garlic is a very protective component. And this one that I'm going to show you in a minute, I don't even know why I'm showing you guys. I've been so obsessed with my own physical health that I haven't been able to concentrate. And so the moon turns in Leo at 12:26 Eastern. So I'm just going to do it while we're talking. The shenanigans are amazing in church because everybody's trying to be like Jesus. But I never saw Jesus cheat. Did you? I saw the Pharisees. I saw them cheat. Is that the religious people back in the day? Was it called the Pharisees? So this one is a young girl. So she gets also a garlic candle. That's all I made this time with rune symbols. If that's not pretty, you if you guys can't see the care and love that I put into anything that I do, including my readings, right? So this is a young girl. Also got the garlic candle, but I used red this time because she's young and you want that youth passion into everything. Across, of course, a cross symbol in everything that I do. And each symbol has meaning depending upon what we talked about because we have a consultation first. Oh, let me do their names now because I already showed you. By the way, I use up sprinkles like you can't imagine. Sprinkles? Oh my God. What are these called? Sparkles? Sprinkles? I gotta wash my hands because I don't want to mix Lori's red with her color. Even as me too, soul sister. Even as a child, I would be like, that doesn't make sense, Pastor. And I used to have one pastor when I used to sit with my dad as I got older and had to bring my dad back to church because, oh my God, was he a sinner? Get your fathers back in church, people. They are not okay. And da 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 da. So I I knew when the pastor was pastoring by human spirit and then by spirit, because a different person would come through as you're watching. When he was in his human spirit, he talked gibberish, like just pure male, unadulterated crap. But when he got into the word, because spirit walked into the room and walked into his body, my dad and I used to say, "Spirit's in." I'd be like, "I know, Dad. Thank God spirit came in because this is ridiculous." My dad used to say, "Spirit walked in." Like, I know, Dad. Spirit need not leave. What's funny, Ebony? You know I never know what I say. Oh my God. You know I never know. But watch Make It Make Sense. I believe it's his latest video. And the thing about that particular video that I was watching is how sad people seem to me. Like sad and lost and stuck. People are stuck. And don't you feel stuck naturally? Right? I get that in all of my readings, right? Especially as of lately. But you all are stuck because the world is changing around you and you don't know whether to participate in the change. And participating in the change means getting out of your own personal ugly. So when you feel stuck, it's because you don't recognize these feelings. You don't recognize enlightenment. You don't recognize that change is here and that it does take you to participate in the newness. So when you feel stuck, it's not stuck, it's fear. And fear is the devil. You don't need an actual devil to show up. The entity fear, or that's it. And you'll stay stuck and the door could be wide open for you and you're going to be like, hmm, you won't even see the door. When I was a kid, my dad was trying to teach my sister, my special needs sister, how to cross the street. And he said to her, when the light is red, that means stop, don't move. Okay. And she said, yes, Daddy. And he kept teaching her. And she said, yes, Daddy. And he would drive with her and he's like, see, red. And she goes, don't move. And he says, exactly. He would walk with her and he would say, red. And she would go, don't move. And he goes, exactly. So one day he left her to cross the street and he watched her and she didn't move. The light had turned green and then red and then green and then red and she didn't move. And so my dad got out the car and went up to her and said, remember, sweetie, we talked about red, don't move. Green, you can walk. And she goes, I know, Dad. And he goes, why didn't you move? And she said, 3 blocks down, it's red. You're all acting special needs. Moral of the story, everybody's acting special needs. The doors could be wide open for grace to allow you to walk. Thank you, soul sister, to allow you to walk through and you don't do it. How many of you people, when I say you people, I mean you people, know that you should be leaving your jobs and you don't gather up your resume and submit it and get the hell out? How many of you? Say me. Everybody say me. Why? Why do you think you owe that job to go to work on time, be a great worker, and for them to abuse you? Why do you not think you should get out? I'll tell you why. Because you're involved in relationships that you won't get out of. Look beyond your job. Look beyond what's directly in front of you. Like Soul Sister said, there's more out there than here. And the door is wide open. The door is the door to your spirit. Gather your resume and submit it and see what's out there. Why are you putting up with bad bosses? Do you know most black people won't even write a letter to HR when a boss is being inappropriate, when a coworker is being inappropriate? Do you guys realize you don't even think you have the right to do that? And you think you don't have the right based upon your church teachings? Fear. Yes, Mom G, I got you. Mom G says, thank you for this lesson, Tracy. My biggest problem is that I stay paralyzed in fear. I won't get out of my own way sometimes, but I see it so clear for others. Yeah, yeah, exactly. It's crazy to me. Right. HR is always for the company, but they will always tell you they're for you. But that's not the point. I'm not asking you to trust HR. I'm asking you to trust you. Write the letter anyways. Because once you have a written document, you put the company and HR on notice. Now, it doesn't mean that you're not going to get fired. It means that you trust the God in you to understand that you have the right not to be picking cotton and being beat by your massa because it's the same motherfucking thing. It's just documentation. And by the way, if you lost your job, that is God. And you should have gotten your resume out long before you wrote that letter. Do you see? You're welcome, Bree. Oh my goodness. Hi. Hi, sweetie. Gomez says, I had to go to intensive therapy before I realized I could speak up. Tracy was telling me for a while and I didn't get it. It's okay not to get it. The one thing I can give you credit for, Gourmet, is that you kept coming back to me. You kept coming back. And didn't we just keep walking down the yellow brick road? Didn't we? Yeah. Yeah, that's why I may never give up psychic work because I'm on that yellow brick road where I'm like, man, next level, guys, let's get there. And I might have to turn back around and be like, girl, why are you sitting here? Fear. All right, let me sit in fear with you then. I'm not afraid of fear, but I'll sit with you until you recognize that what's in the future is your personal power. Yeah. Cormet. Cormet, don't make me cry. Cormet says you were so patient with me. Cormet, don't make me cry. We did good, Gourmet. We did good. It's mental freedom. We did so good. Oh, my foot is itching. What does it mean? Oh, when your left foot itches. Oh, ah, oh, there we go. Just gotta find the right thing that's gonna stretch it. Oh my goodness, you are Gourmet. Ah, you are such a great example for me. Speaking up, you know what my channel has always been. Why is my foot itching, guys? Ah. You know why I scream and yell on my channel? I know you guys don't understand it. It's like she's so loud. All she does is yell and scream. Although I've calmed down. But you know why I do it? Oh, wait. Uh, you ever get an itch in your foot that feels like an orgasm? That's what this feels like. Ah, scratch it. I can't. I'm playing with my candles, so I don't want to be like, oh. Um, I have on. I have one foot off and one shoe on, so I'm scratching with the top of the other shoe. Oh my God! Thank you, Teresa. Tracy's so real. I try to be. Um, you are passionate and point out what no one else is doing or unaware of. Yeah, yeah. I realize that is my job. My job is like, what the hell did you just do? What the hell? Uh, uh, I realize that is my job. And somehow y'all still like me at the end of the reading. You're like, ah. I'm like, yep, you were wrong. You were wrong. And then y'all go, but no buts. So funny, actually. It's hilarious. And in the end, well, how are we doing? I wrote HR in 2018 before I quit. That's the trick. Crooked nurses sleeping in cars for hours, and two other nurses videotaping my rear end. And the one black CNA, well, she was mixed, called me a snitch. I didn't care. Don't care. Don't care. Hi, wellness. Buenos dias. That is def your job. Thank you. Itchy left foot, negative energy. Right foot, positive energy. Allergy per the internet. Oh, oh, then it's allergy. Last night, because of my tooth, it's kind of still swollen. And I feel the stitching coming out today, but I'll give them a call today or tomorrow to have them look at it. Even though I don't want to bother people, but I shouldn't walk around with the stitches coming out, so I have to bother them. And last night, I had something I was not supposed to have. So, Mr. George, my neighbor next door, he keeps giving me juices that I don't drink, juices that I can't drink. Gave me a juice yesterday that had kiwi in it. I can't drink that, but it's okay, right? I just graciously say thank you, Mr. George. Well, a couple of days last week, he gave me SpaghettiOs. When I was a kid, I loved SpaghettiOs and meatballs. And I was like, why is he bringing me back to my childhood? But I just took it, stuck it in a cabinet. And last night, I'm not supposed to eat SpaghettiOs. It gives me an allergic reaction. Last night, I was so hungry because I haven't been eating well in terms of like chowing down on something. And I ate SpaghettiOs and meatballs. And I said I was going to have allergic reaction, so I totally expected to wake up with a black neck. But I guess it's making my foot itch. No, these here are permanent stitches, and then in 3 weeks, he's gonna put in dissolvable stitches. But I guess it's also a trick to get me to come back in so they could look at it. I don't know. That's sodium. I'm highly allergic to sodium. Yes. I gotta look to see. I got like 3 cans here. But I figured I would save the cans for Armageddon because that's coming. Collect your cans, people. And all right. Yes, you're right. You have dissolvable ones, right? Yeah. I got to go back in 3 weeks, and then he's going to restitch it with the dissolvable ones. So, Bree says, it's funny. Bree said, it's funny, but you are so serious about spirit gathering our asses to let us know what's the right thing to do. And yes, and then love at the end. Always know, guys, I check with spirit first. I always go, what should I do? And then I listen to how spirit says it, right? Because sometimes spirit will say to me, she can't handle it. And I go, so that means don't say, spirit will say she cannot handle it. And then another reading will come for the same person. And in another reading, spirit will say, slam her. What the fuck are you doing? What the hell? What's allegedly, soul sister? Oh. Oh. Milk that insurance? No, I had to pay cash. Oh. Oh. I'm sure that's how they milk the insurance. Yes, but I had to pay cash. But my next appointment, because I checked, I was like, do I pay for the next appointment? They were like, no. But I'm sure if I had insurance, they would milk it. But maybe I paid for it in this because it was really expensive. So maybe I already uh, paid for it. I don't know. I'm telling you right now, everybody should become a dentist. Please. Because if we leave it up to that damn Obama movie, ain't none of us going to have teeth. All right, guys. Ebony, I know. Did you have insurance too, though? Did you have insurance? You know, that movie is trying to tell us something. I saw that fucking movie and my teeth fell out. Are you fucking kidding me? Oh my God. Adios mio. Again, the signs are always there. Now, whether or not you want to look at your preacher and what's falling apart in the signs that are being available to us right now, don't defend your pastor so quickly. Don't do it. Just kind of go, I hope that works out for you, Pastor. I have faith in you. And I hope, this is something that you can work out, you know? And then sit back and go like this. So, this is the third thing I heard about you, Pastor. 3? But you just want me to trust you? Hmm. Another thing, Pastor? Wait, what happened? And your children are fucked up too? Pastor, I gotta go. I have to leave. I can't tie to a church with a pastor that can't handle his underwear on his body, keeping it on his body without splitting it in two. You should only split your underwear in two, Pastor, if you have to go pee. Anything else? I gotta go. I have to leave you. You're not trustworthy. Oh, you're lucky. At 20%, you still paid a lot? Damn. That movie had me like, what the fuck? Where there's smoke, there's fire. And that's what's coming up with TD Jakes. It's smoke. wait, wait, what? It was from that genetically engineered tick. Your 20% was a lot? Sometimes, Ebony, I think your 20% is the doctor's price gouging to the insurance companies. So what might cost $1,800, they price gouge to your insurance company $1,600, and then charge you the 20% on $1,600 instead of the $800. I don't trust none of these people. What is this, soul sister? There's a genetically engineered tick out there. Where there's smoke, there's fire. Yes. The movie, losing his teeth. Oh! Hell, I missed that part. He got bit by a tick. I missed that part. You feel like it was genetically engineered. Interesting. The total was 11,500. What? What? Oh, that's some Obama shit. That's some Where Do I Live Obama movie shit. You had to pay that much money for your teeth? Oh my God. So the insurance took 80% of that. So you were about $1,500 in the hole? $2,000 in the hole? That's some shit. 1,600 was my 20%. Yes. Yes, I remember. Yes, but his sister didn't get. Notice she was the only one that didn't get anything because she was uber observant. Oh my God, I get it. I wouldn't mind paying 1,600 if I thought more teeth were being taken care of. I paid 1,700 for one tooth. And then I get to the pharmacy and I got 800 milligrams of ibuprofen, clindamycin, which I should have taken already. It's already 12 o'clock. Damn. Clindamycin. And then three. Oh, and then some diflucan to stop yeast infection, because apparently when you take clindamycin or amoxicillin, you can catch a yeast infection. In any case, they gave me diflucan, one to take now and one to take in 5 days. $69 for the prescription. So when the woman said $69, I looked at her and I said, please kill me. And she's wrapping my packages and she goes, and I said, ma'am, I'm begging you, please kill me. And she's looking at me and then she goes back to wrapping her packages. And I said, ma'am, you don't understand. I just came from the dentist where they charged me $1,700. So please take my credit card, take out the $69, and then kill me. It was so funny. And another mature woman totally got my joke. She starts cracking up in a chair. And I was like, you get it, right? Totally got it. The young girl didn't get it. The whole oh my God. I matched the young girl's face with her face. I was like, she looked at me like this. And I looked at her like, do it. Please do it. Kill me. Too funny. I had just left the doctor's office, so you know I was not smiling either. Girl, you don't have attitude. I got attitude. All right, guys, I'm going to get going. I got to get these candles up and lit. I love you all. Thank you for sharing this space with me. Thank you for letting spirit come through me on the topic that we clearly needed to talk about. It's a beautiful thing when we can acknowledge that church sucks. And remember, I never want to be step foot in church again. Please do not bury me in a church. If you hate me, bury me in a church. Don't do it. Cremate me and throw the ashes where you want. I don't care anymore. I don't want anyone coming by looking for my name. I don't want it. I don't want it. I was here and I'm no longer here. Okay. Tooting, tooting. Cue that music.
Gals and guys, go to Tracey Brown Live. Go to Tracey Brown Live. Go to Tracey Brown Live. Gals and guys, go to Tracey Brown Live. Go to Tracey Brown Live. Go to Tracey Brown Live. Gals and guys, go to Tracey Brown Live. Go to Tracey Brown Live. Go to Tracey Brown Live. Gals and guys, go to Tracey Brown Live. Go